Hi, David. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you doing?
Good. I'm very excited that we will host you here again in Istanbul. And can you a little bit tell us about the training, the 3 days, how we will spend the time, and at the end, what the participants will receive? Uh,
Sure. Sure. So we'll start by looking at the model, the psychological
mhm,
model, which really explores how memories for traumatic events are different to other types of memories, how the meaning that we make of an event is important. So what does an event mean? Does that event mean that I was very lucky to survive? Or does that event mean that the whole world is dangerous? I'm very vulnerable. Other people are
mhm,
violent.
mhm,
And that meaning colors the way that we see the world. And then particularly with post-traumatic stress disorder, but with other problems as well, avoidance keeps the problem going. So people that don't process the memory, they look away from the memory rather than towards it, or people that don't think through what happened. They don't want to think about it, so they don't get to balance their ideas. That's what really causes the problem.
mhm,
So after we've looked at the model, we'll look at reactions to traumatic events, and we'll particularly look at post-traumatic stress disorder and how that shows up in children and young people. So we'll look at the different developmental levels and how it might be different for children to adults. And then we'll think about how do we go about helping children and young people who've experienced traumatic events. We start by thinking about the context for therapy. So how do we engage people? If I work with a person who believes that other people cannot be trusted, well, how can I work with them as a therapist? I have to start by overcoming those difficulties with trust. How do we make therapy safe enough to be able to do the trauma focused work?
mhm, mhm. That's very important.
We'll think about how much we need to involve the parents and the carers and the rest of the
Mhm,
family.
mhm,
We'll think a bit about how we help someone to do the very thing they don't want to do. Most people will come to us saying, I don't want to think about that. This awful thing has happened and I don't want to think about it.
mhm,
But if we want that memory to stop intruding into their
mhm,
mind, we
mhm,
need to help them and support them to deliberately think about their memory. So we'll think about doing trauma focused work. We'll think about how to reevaluate the event, how to make better, more useful sense of it, and how to overcome avoidance. Um, we'll also think about how to create an environment for recovery. So some children don't need therapy, but they
mhm,
might need some help in feeling safe, feeling calm, feeling connected to other people, feeling they have control over other things, and feeling hopeful about the future. So even if people are not doing therapy, there may be other things they can do to create the environment for recovery, perhaps helping the school to create an environment or the family to create an environment. And
mhm,
then we'll also think about adapting the model and the therapy to each individual child,
mhm.
because good evidence-based practice is we take these good evidence-based ideas, but then we innovate, we think afresh, we think freshly about each child that we work with. What are we going to do with this particular child on this particular day? And then because we have 3 days together, we'll also do some supervision. We'll think about some of the families that people are working with. So it's a really great
Yeah.
opportunity, not just to have a training in a model, but
Mhm.
also to think about how does that affect my work with the children, young people, and families I'm working with.